Welcome into another episode of the Laser Bros podcast. We are your hosts, Logan and Luke Lazarchik. Today, May 16th, 2025, Friday, heading into graduation weekend. We'll be attending a few grad parties tomorrow and Sunday. And hopefully that does not deter from our ability to watch Game 7 of the Nuggets Thunder series. That series has probably been, I guess each series that Nuggets have been involved in has been the best series of each round. I would say. In both series go to Game 7. And I know Luke has some personal, emotional, he's a big Jokic fan, big Nuggets fan. So I know that I've been watching these games with him. He gets a little passionate when we're watching.
That's because you've been rooting for OKC for years, but you've just been.
I just want to see a new team. I want to see a new.
But you're rooting for them, team. Not like, I want to see a new team. Like, I love my Thunder.
I've always liked Thunder for years.
Yeah, everyone's always liked the Thunder. Like, who's hated the Thunder? Like, literally, if you ask anyone in our age group, they've liked the Thunder. But it's been, I have my posters right here. I can't see it, but my Jokic poster, Yeah. But it has been a great series, and I was looking at it just to make sure. Only Game 2 was the only game where I was like, turn this off early. It's the only one. The rest have been at least competitive into somewhat of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and I think Game 1, we haven't been able to record and talk about these second round series yet. We can do a quick little recap. Game 1, Thunder, I want to say dominate, but they were leading throughout the entire game. Chet misses 2 clutch free throws, and Nuggets steal Game 1. Game 2, Thunder take, control that game, and I think they won by like 43 or something.
Yeah, that was a slaughter.
And then Game 3, Nuggets steal home court with overtime win. Thunder, I thought Game 4 and Game 5 for Thunder were huge in the fact that they're a young team facing adversity, and they were able to win both those games despite A, not playing well, and I think in both of them, and B, facing deficits in both of them. And one of them came on the road in Denver. And then we have Game 6, which occurred on Wednesday in Denver. Denver able to force Game 7. I really thought, my takeaways from this game, the three main reasons why I felt Nuggets won this game, and I'm not going to include Jokic in it because Jokic, he's
his own
one
thing.
Variable where it's a consistent one. He's going to show out, produce. I thought Strother, the quick burst in the third and fourth quarter, I think he scored 15 points in like a 5-minute span or something like that.
It wasn't that fast. He scored
they scored 8 minutes. They scored 8 points in the first, in 2 minute span. He scored.
But then it was he got the rest of the 5 points a little later.
Okay. Christian Brown, I think the second he was the lead scorer at one point for the Nuggets in the third quarter. I think his involvement in the offense and his emergence for the Nuggets was huge. And thirdly, it was just Jamal Murray able to overcome whatever illness he was facing and still scoring over 20 points. So those were the three reasons I felt Nuggets won Game 6. And then for Thunder, I think you're going to need Jalen Lynch to step up if he's going to be your number 2 to win Game 7. And he was 3 of 16. I know he had 10 assists, but you can't have these up and down performances. I know he's still super young. But for him to be your number 2 right now, he has to be consistent. He hasn't been that he's been putting up scoring numbers in a series, but it's not been based on efficiency at all. It's been based on volume and scoring here and there big. But he has had big shots in this game in these games. But I think his performances need to get more consistent.
He was. Man, he was. I remember the first series he kind of played well. I don't remember the exact stats. So I'm just gonna pull them up here. But
it was against Memphis. I think everybody played well.
Yeah, it was against Memphis. But now it's. He was really good Game 2. But Game 2 they slaughtered him. So it's he had a really good Game 2. But in the end, how valuable was it? If you just look, Game 1, very bad shooting. Or no, it was Game 3 he actually played really well. Game 2 you saw.
Yeah, Game 3 is overtime loss. Yeah.
Yeah, but he played really well in that. But then since then, 2-13, 5-14, 3-16. He did get 10 assists yesterday, which was kind of out of nowhere. He also had 7 assists in the Game 2 win. So he's been doing some distributing, but it's just he's not playing like a number two. He's not playing like a number two. And all the Nuggets have it's like they have one player a game step up, and it's just enough, and that's helping them a lot. Like just have that one guy or two guys step up. But the Thunder, I've liked what the bench has done. I feel like Hartenstein's been pretty solid. He had a nice stretch there during the game. Chet Holmgren, I think, okay compared to you wish he would do a little more, but he's still getting. I mean, he's averaging near double-digit rebounds, probably like 17, 16 points, maybe a little lower than that. So he's doing some stuff, but then you're just not getting the Jalen Williams. And if Jalen Williams plays well, I feel like they're just much better. But he's not showing out. He's just not doing it.
Yeah, I think for me, this game 7, if Jalen Williams plays well, like let's say he puts performance like 7 for 16 shooting, and he has like 20-something points, and the rebounds are down and assists are down, of course. But let's say he scores about 18 to 20 points. Mm-hmm. I do think because Thunder have way more depth than the Nuggets, obviously. And right now, when you look at the Thunder, the one thing that you're going to get is bench production. Like, oddly enough, I know I'm going to get out of Caruso, out of Wallace, more than what I'm going to get out of Holmgren or Jalen Williams. And that's a problem in itself.
I don't think the depth is that big.
A key part. Oh, I think it is. Thunder.
No, but I'm talking about this game 7. No, it's big, but it's not the biggest difference in the world. It can. I mean, if you're looking at it, you have Westbrook, who has not had a great series, but he has moments, and like you look at the stats, but
those moments happen in early. I think as a series has progressed.
No, but he's had moments. He has these small moments. No. I didn't get to finish. No, but he has these small moments that are big. You have Peyton Watson playing pretty well, and now you have Strother, so then it's just 9 against 8. So I don't think the depth is this massive thing now.
Oh, I do, because here's the thing. I think at this point, Westbrook, I don't like, as I was about to say, his role and impact as the series has progressed has diminished. Like games 1 and 2, he's really efficient, playing really well. I mean, he's combined the last 4 games. If I'm looking at 9 of 35 shooting.
Oh, it's not good.
Like that's my point. It's like the depth. You can say, yeah, the Thunder's bench has shrunk a little bit. They haven't been able to depend on Isaiah Joe as much. Aaron Wiggins hasn't been doing as much. But I also think you say the same thing for Denver, as if Westbrook. I don't think he's going to show up in this game. I've seen him for 3 straight games now where he's not really doing anything, and he's a turnover machine, takes bad shots, forces the issue, and he's becoming unplayable. Maybe
that's not true. Okay,
that's too far. No, I just said it's too far of a stretch. You're not even letting me finish, bro. Let me finish my point. That may be too far of a stretch, but he is becoming, I think, a liability at times. And yes, there's moments he makes plays, but I don't think if you think you can trust Westbrook in this game, I just don't think that's something plausible.
When the Thunder were coming back at the end of the game last night, who did Aldman put in, and who kind of settled it down a little? It was Westbrook who settled it down. So
I think Strother is the reason that they were able to.
No, but I'm talking about when the Thunder started coming back. They started coming back, and Westbrook. He put Westbrook.
I think the game was already. You were overreacting that entire time.
No, they
were up by 10 with like 2 minutes.
No, but Logan, he put him in the game. He put him in the game, and Westbrook kind of settled it. And Westbrook does so many things. I know the box score is bad, and trust me, Westbrook has not been great. But he does so many small things that you see where his impact, it's still there. Even talking about unplayable, that's just wrong, because his impact as a defender and as just an energizer is completely, you have to see it. I mean, if you don't see it, you're not seeing what he's doing. You're just looking at the bad shooting, which obviously is really bad. But his role is still there. Strother, I mean, that was huge. And then Peyton Watson, again, not shooting great, but he has a role. These players have a role.
Yeah, but he played really good defense last night. There were stretches where he was able to, especially when Jokic was out, kind of keep Thunder a little bit. And I think Thunder lost this game. We were talking about last night. How many games are decided or like right before halftime in the final 5 minutes of the second quarter? And Shea going out with the fourth foul, that's really when the game turned, I think, because the Thunder were up by 10 to 12 points at that point. The lead evaporates within 2-3 minutes. And then Dort hits a 3 at the buzzer to put them up 3 at half. But it really felt like Denver stole all the momentum at that point once SGA went out that fourth foul, which was a really dumb foul as well. It was really a foul he did not have to commit at all. And Jokic kind of baited him into the foul.
No, yeah, that's definitely true. But again, back to the bench a little bit. When they came back, I know Strother was huge and that was unexpected. But I remember they had a lineup of the Strother, Westbrook, Watson. They're 3 bench guys, and I think it was Murray and Gordon. And then they went up, and then they took those 2 out and put in Jokic and Brown, but they kept the 3 bench guys. So that's what I'm just like those 3. They all played under 20 minutes. But they all played big in the fourth. They all played big minutes in the fourth.
No, they did. Now, I do think that could be a one-off because when you look at the series, if we just look at the 6 games of how these minutes are distributed for both teams, like let's go for game 5, for instance, on Tuesday. Jokic played 44 minutes. Murray played 41. Brown played 43. Gordon played 36. And when you look at Thunder, they had players surpass 40 minutes. Consistent thing when you're looking at the series. A lot of these 40 minutes. They're getting close to 40 minutes. But I do think that's why, in my opinion, I think the bench has been a big factor in the series because you just look at the minutes of how players are playing, how much players are playing on both sides. And Thunder do not have to, like SGA does not have to empty the tank each and every game. Now, Nuggets have to do that. Like Jokic has to play 40-plus minutes every game. Jamal has to play 40-plus minutes every game. Now, credit to Denver, their experience, I think, is something they've used to their advantage, and Jokic is the best player in the world. But I do think I just disagree with you fundamentally on the depth part.
But I don't think that all comes to a head here in Game 7 when you're in an extra day of rest. I don't think it's all of a sudden, now the extra 30 minutes. Like that's why I just don't think it's a factor. And you know what happens? I wouldn't be surprised if the Thunder take Aaron Wiggins out of the rotation next game.
I wouldn't be because now
and then it's an 8v8. And the Thunder players or the Nuggets players won't be scoring a ton of points probably from the bench, but they have their defensive roles. They have their impact. So that's why the Nuggets don't have the depth the Thunder do. But in this Game 7, it's not that's down the list on what's important. So now it's just who's the better team, matchups, or it's not matchups per se, but just is there any scheme things that are different, and then who's hitting shots. So I think the depth piece, I bet Shea plays his most minutes in this game. I bet Jalen Williams plays
he probably does.
So, and the Nuggets players are better suited. They're more used to it. So I don't think there's much advantage in that aspect.
One counter to the 8v8. I don't know how much of Michael Porter of a player he is at this point, the shoulder injury. It really feels like the shoulder injury has
he had 10 points.
Taken its toll on him. He has 10 points, but and then Aaron Gordon, that's been an interesting storyline in this series. I don't know what exactly is I don't know if it's the defense, it's kind of taking away those lob opportunities, taking away paint opportunities for Gordon. I know you've kind of been frustrated on how he's being utilized.
Yeah, I don't think he should be trying to score like with the ball or post ups. But he's still playing well. He still had 7.7 assists, or 7 rebounds, 7 assists. So I know he hurt his hammy, but I bet he'll be fine Game 7. So I'm not too concerned about it's just who's hitting shots. And I think that's the main part here. Who's hitting shots and foul trouble will be huge. I feel like one player is going to get in foul trouble. Don't know who it is. Someone big will get in foul trouble.
Yeah, I'm still looking at the depth. I'm going to disagree with you on that point. I just am. I don't like Strother. I don't think is going to replicate what he did in Game 6.
He doesn't even replicate that.
I don't think Westbrook you can really trust. You're going to put him out there for energy minutes and all that, and he can still make an impact. But I don't really trust him. Watson, I do think can make an impact. But what you're going to get from Jokic. Murray, for the most part, what you're going to get as long as he's not playing reckless. But he is still pretty consistent. Brown is hit or miss, but he's more likely to be good in this game. Michael Porter, I just think the injury is too much. I don't know where you get from. Aaron Gordon, I think, has become, he's been kind of marginalized. So I'm still going to give the edge to OKC, but I can definitely see Denver win this game just based on the fact that they have Jokic who can win, who can dominate. And oddly enough, the Nuggets actually are more likely to win if Jokic scores under 40 points. I saw something the other day. Their like playoff record when he scores 40 or more points.
No, yeah.
And I think they're winless in those games, if I remember right.
No, he doesn't want to do that.
Yeah, and I think the formula for Nuggets is if Jokic should score 30 and then have like 12 assists, that means the supporting cast is hitting shots. So if I'm a Denver fan,
if
I'd rather Jokic have more assists than 40 points or whatever.
If Jokic has a 30-point triple-double, I think Nuggets win. I feel pretty good about that because the most he had was last night at 8. So if he gets to 12, as you said.
Well, that's just what I'm just throwing a number out there. I'm not saying.
No, yeah, but if he gets to 12, I at that point I'm feeling pretty good about the game because that's the main thing it's just people haven't been hitting shots, but there were still open shots they were missing yesterday, but they hit more. I felt like that was a real Jokic game. He shot. Let me look. He shot. Oh, I'm on the wrong game.
He was 9 of 14 last night.
Yeah, he only had 14 shot attempts, 29 points, 14 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Like that was the most like pure Jokic game and probably how he wants to play. So that I felt like that was pretty good there.
So what is your confidence level if Jalen Williams plays? Like what's a stat line for Jalen Williams where if I told you that was a stat line, you would be worried about the Nuggets in Game 7? Because I do think Jalen Williams is a major factor in this game. You know you're gonna get from SGA.
It's probably the X factor.
I would say so too. Too. But what would be a stat line that he produces where, like, if I told you ahead of time, that's what he does, where you would be worried?
If he gets 20 points on above 40% shooting, I'm concerned. Above 40%, 20 plus points, I'm concerned. But I still think Nuggets can win that. Here's something. My takeaway from SGA. Even though he hasn't played his best series, he's kind of proven something to me that he is at least like top 5.
Do you know what stat line was last night?
No, it was good. He played pretty well.
He was 11 of 16 last night.
No, yeah. So like, I think that there's like been a clear like, hey, Jokic is way better than this guy because there's most people, but you see some people like I think SGA is better. It's like no, he's not, and that got proven. And like I think it's still like SGA is not on that even. Like I'm still not putting him above Giannis. I still think that he's in that battle with like Anthony Edwards, even though in the regular season SGA has the advantage, but he hasn't proven to me that Anthony Edwards is better than him. If you get what I'm saying, I don't know if that makes sense.
To be honest, if that's a series, that next series, if that's Thunder Wolves, that will be a very telling. Mm-hmm. I think you'll have a much better idea, obviously, of who's better. Especially if Anthony Edwards is able to lead Timberwolves past the Thunder, I think that's all you would need to vindicate Edwards being better.
For sure.
So this is interesting because I think OKC has more wild cards. Like Game 7s, there's always players that kind of out producing, like Christian Brown against Clippers. How many threes did he hit in Game 7 against the Clippers? I'm pretty.
Oh yeah, he played well. Everyone played well against Westbrook. Was great in Game 7.
I think Game 7 it comes down to your best players, but at the same time, you're always gonna have that outlier performance by someone you don't expect, and just based on the fact that I believe Thunder have more of those, more numbers in that area, I do think that they have a better chance of. Like I don't think Caruso's gonna blow up, but I think Wallace could be. I wouldn't be surprised if Wallace is, hits 4 to 5 threes.
That'd be a lot. That'd be a lot.
I mean, he's hit. He's
played well. No, Wallace has played well.
I mean, if he hit like 4 to 5 threes.
There's probably not a team with more defenders 6'6" and under who are just really good than the Thunder.
Yeah, and that's why I think Aaron Gordon's been pretty much minimized for the most part.
I think they're using him.
He's put up solid stats. But it's also, I think, the length and overall size of Thunder and their defending. Like against the Clippers, you saw Aaron Gordon have a lot of space in the lane, have a lot of lob opportunities. You don't really see that. And they're kind of what Thunder's plan has been this entire series is basically we're going to pack the middle. And that's why you've seen like so many wide open corner threes from Denver, which at times they've hit and at times they've just been terrible. And so I do think for Game 7, first and fourth quarter, I think those are two quarters that you have to watch closely because that's been the telling story for the most part of the series in games that Nuggets have lost. Is that first quarter they struggle, and the fourth quarter they don't show up.
No, yeah, this is one of the best series we've had in a while. Like honestly, like the Clippers Nuggets series is really good. I think this is better than that. Trying to think back to last year's playoffs. Nuggets Timberwolves. There's a lot of blowouts in that one. That was a weird series.
Yeah.
So this is definitely better. The Nuggets are on all the.
I thought Thunder Mavs last year was pretty good.
That was really good. Yeah, Thunder Mavs was good. I still would take this. Trying to think of what other series.
I think it's mostly Western Conference. You're not going to see like Eastern
Knicks
Conference.
Sixers was really fun last year. It was like chaos, but it was.
It wasn't the best basketball, though.
I know, but that's why it's not better than this. But it was like just this pure chaos, and
I mean, every Celtics series went to 5 games. Kyrie knew the East for the most part is always.
No, that's why I'm literally trying to think what series has been better since Knicks. Pacers went to 7, but Knicks got broken down. Who else is there? I'm just trying to think back on the clock of what other teams. It's better than any series from last year for sure. And the year before when Nuggets won it all. Lakers Nuggets have been fun series, even though Nuggets always win the game. Those have been fun series, the games themselves. This is literally one of the best series in a while.
And most of the games have been. I mean, there's been like one blowout, and then last night was like a 12-point game. But
every
these
series
games are mostly close for them. Yeah. So I'm assuming we're on opposite side of Game 7. Who we think is going to
win. Oh yeah, you know who it is.
I do think one more factor, the Strother thing. Role players tend to play way better at home, and that's just the reason. That's the reason why I don't think he's going to repeat.
I'm not saying it's going to be Strother. Strother doesn't need to get 15 points in 12 minutes again, but he just like hits it.
So who do you trust the most? How do I phrase this? Like Jokic and Murray. Who is your number 3 for Nuggets? Because I think a lot of people kind of
it's Brown for right now. Matchup. Aaron Gordon's.
I would say
Aaron Gordon's a better player, but for the series matchup, it's Brown.
Yeah, I think Gordon. Like Gordon has not looked. I don't know. Like when I watched him, it's just like he fumbled the ball last night, late in the game with that turnover.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't trust Gordon when he has the ball at this point. I think Thunder's defense.
I trust him in clutch plays
really
now. I mean,
if
he needs to hit, if there's a catch and shoot 3, it's Aaron Gordon. I'm all in for it.
And then Michael Porter, I still know. I have no idea what you're gonna get.
He's
like every time he shoots, it's like because I am rooting for Thunder in this one. Every time he shoots, it's like okay, I don't think he's gonna make it. And then as soon as I say that, he hits one. So it's I don't know. He was okay last night. He's been okay this series. But I just think the injury to his shoulder is really.
If he doesn't go, painful. He can't go like 1 for 7 or something like that. Like he just needs to just hit a couple nice shots, a deflection or 2, because he's not playing a ton of minutes. He's playing like 20 something, and I think it's good that like there hasn't been anything like Michael Porter getting pissed about that. It's like, I mean, they have their 4 guys, and that's just kind of whoever's playing well gets the 5th slot.
Yeah. I don't know. Nuggets, I mean, we'll see. I think I am going to game. I mean, we'll see if the fatigue hits. It is good for them that they get the 2 days in between games. So I do think they caught up right there. But I just think the Thunder's overall depth is going to be the main reason. And I do think Jalen Williams he does tend to play better at home. It's not by a wide margin, but I do think Game 7. It is interesting, though, because Thunder's a very young team, and they've never been in Game 7 before. Haven't really faced adversity this entire season until now. So I do think there's more pressure on Thunder, of course. Heading into this game, being the 1 seed at home, I do think there's definitely more pressure on the Thunder.
And you've been doubting the Nuggets all playoffs, man. You've been down them all playoffs, but they have the best player in the world. That's what I tell you. You were like, no, because
didn't you pick? And you thought okay after Game 1.
Yeah, I thought okay, that's not the point. No, but you were like, oh, Thunder can't even win because they went to a 7-game series and they're going to be tired. What?
You mean Nuggets? You said
Nuggets. I keep doing that in this series for some reason. I don't know why. But the Nuggets are going to be tired. So, like, I was like, it's going to 6. I picked under and 6. But that's not me doubting them overall as a team.
I put under and 6 as well.
You were like, oh, I was saying, you were like, oh, they can't win because they've gone 7 games, so they're going to be tired. Like, that was literally your talking point. Like, oh, they've gone, and then they won game 1. So you can doubt the Nuggets all you want. They found a way, and I think they continue to find a way. I think here's what I'm going to say. Thunder go up early. Nuggets chip away. Take the lead in the third quarter. Thunder probably get it back. The Nuggets get it back. And it's going to be back and forth. Those final 3 minutes, I think it'll be close. I'm going with Jokic. And Jamal Murray hits at least one clutch shot in that time. Nuggets in 7.
Let's stay on the Western Conference side. Yeah, let's just stay on the Western Conference side. So we're going to talk about a potential Western Conference Finals. If you were the Timberwolves, who would you want to face? And to be honest, the Timberwolves have actually been really good against both these teams during the regular season. I know regular season is different, but like they swept the Nuggets this season. They beat Nuggets in the playoffs last season. They have had a good track record against OKC. What team do you think they would prefer to go against in the Western Conference Finals?
Okay, here's my thought. On paper, matchup-wise, you rather face the Nuggets. I feel like on paper, matchup-wise. But let's say the Thunder win and Jalen Williams doesn't play well. If I'm Minnesota, I know this sounds kind of stupid, but if Nuggets win or Thunder win, Thunder win and Jalen Williams doesn't play well, but they scrape away, I'm so happy. I'm happy because if Jalen Williams faces the Timberwolves and he's not playing well, I'm taking the Timberwolves because the Timberwolves. I mean, with how Randall's playing and everything, I'm taking Timberwolves. I would still rather for them play Nuggets because the size that it's interesting thinking about like Julius Randle now, how well he's played. It's like, so Chet Holmgren's probably guarding Julius Randle, or is Chet Holmgren guarding Gobert?
I don't even view the Thunder's defensive matchups like that. I kind of view as a whole unit and how they can impact, passing lanes and all that. And to be honest, like Minnesota, if I'm Minnesota, I don't want to face Jokic, and I know I don't want Gobert. I don't think Gobert can really guard Jokic at all. I would rather take my chances against a young team with not that much experience. But at the same time, it's like Timberwolves had 20 turnovers in Game 5 against the Warriors. And I do think Thunder's length and overall defense would cause. I don't think Jalen Williams would have to be. He definitely has to play well, but I don't think he has to be this worldly player to beat. Timberwolves, I think, are at times very Anthony Edwards dependent. I think you could say the same for Thunder as well as SGA. But and both teams have good. Like that's a series that I think where the depth is more evenly matched than with Thunder.
Yeah,
I think it's much more evenly matched than Timberwolves. But I think Thunder would give Timberwolves a lot of issues. I think Timberwolves and Timberwolves, even Game 6, like Chris Finch had to tell Anthony Edwards, keep playing, this game's not over. And there was like 4 minutes left, and it's an 11-point game. I don't think Timberwolves are that focused at times, and I think against both these teams, you won't be able to do that. But against Thunder, I think their overall depth and defense will give Timberwolves more issues.
Here's something with the matchup. So I'd say they'd rather face Nuggets, just because the Nuggets aren't as good. But Gobert is probably not really going to get played off the floor against the Thunder. It's probably not. He can guard Hartenstein fine, and he can probably guard Chet Holmgren fine. It's not.
I do think that's such an interesting matchup. Is those I think those two. I'll still give the edge to Thunder in the lane against Gobert. I think Chet, but I think it's a very interesting matchup of Chet and Gobert are kind of similar players in the fact that they're not these huge, sturdy players. They're both kind of thin. Gobert has more size, but
Gobert has more size. He has more experience with it. Gobert's been good in these playoffs. I'm not a big Gobert guy. You're a Gobert hater. I don't want to hate on Gobert just because he's got his money. And I saw him take down my team with some stupid shots last year. Take down my boy, and so he gained a little more respect there. Yeah, that was I literally
the fadeaway, the post fade.
I knew it was going in. I knew it was going in. I literally knew it. It was like laying the shot clock. I'm like, oh, Jokic guarding him, and it's going in. But see, if I wasn't such a Jokic fan, and if Jokic wasn't so awesome to watch play basketball, let's just say Jokic was a superstar who I didn't like watch playing. The matchup of OKC and Minnesota, especially down low, is
I think it's much more
so
compelling.
interesting.
And
No,
that's
it is.
why I rather that's actually a huge reason I'm rooting for OKC, not just because they're a young team and I like them, but I do think the matchup against Timberwolves is much more captivating.
Because
and we've already seen the Nuggets Timberwolves.
but
could you imagine if it's Knicks, Pacers, Timberwolves, OKC, all four of the four best players on his teams would all be playing for the first ring? I think the storylines would be much more compelling.
I mean,
if those are the matchups.
Yeah, okay, sure, but it's a little too hard because Jokic is awesome, and you're acting like the storyline of Westbrook not getting his first ring. No matter how he's getting it, Westbrook getting his first ring is awesome, especially
that's why I said best players. I phrased it best players.
Well, yeah, but that's not. But like with Minnesota, I'm not even that. I'm interested in Anthony Edwards. I'm interested in Julius Randle has my attention because you know how at times Aaron Gordon, Westbrook, obviously Jokic have driven into Chet Holmgren. He just can't take it. Well, now you're getting Julius Randle, who's not more athletic, but he's in terms of just driving at a skinny guy. He's probably the best player to do it besides Jokic.
See, I don't think they would put Chet on Julius Randle.
But those situations will just happen. They're just going to happen. It is interesting. I do think Chet would guard Holmgren, but then how well can Hartenstein guard Randle?
Chet is Holmgren.
Chet, oh my gosh, I am all over the place. Chet would guard Gobert.
I hope the Nuggets aren't as flustered in Game 7 as you are right now.
Oh, stop it. Chet would guard Gobert, but how well would Hartenstein guard Randle? With what I've seen from Randle.
No. Here's how I think it would match up. I think it'd be Hartenstein on Gobert. You put Chet on McDaniels. I would put him on McDaniels.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting.
I would then put Dort or Jalen Williams on Randle.
That's interesting.
Or no, okay. So I would put Dort on Randle, Williams on Ant, and then SGA on Conley.
That's interesting, but I still think then McDaniels, what can he do off the dribble against Chet? He could, because he's shown the ability to go off the dribble. He just doesn't do it a lot, and he's not consistent with it. But when
I feel much better about Chet against.
Chet. No, I agree. I didn't think about that. That's a good. I would expect that. That's interesting. Still, there'll still be situations where
because I don't think you have because Gobert is. I'm not trying to be hating here, but I think offensively he's very dependent on people creating for him.
Yeah,
you don't have to worry about Gobert offensively, so I think you could afford to put Hartenstein on him, even though Hartenstein is shorter than Gobert. I don't think you have to be, or if you're really worried about Chet's defense,
but then
on Gobert, then I'm fine.
When Naz Reid comes in, then it's a whole different matchup. Let's say it's Naz Reid.
Well, okay, but who's he coming in for?
Just Gobert.
Then I put Hartenstein on Reid,
and that's interesting because Reid could really go.
That's why I put Chet on. That's why I put Chet on McDaniels.
And McDaniels could see that matchup. I agree. The matchup itself of Minnesota Thunder is more interesting. But
I am rooting so much for that. I really want to see. I really want to see SGA versus Ant, and then how they match up.
I mean, yeah, it's more interesting. 100% agree. It's more interesting if I take away my bias, but also, Jokic is literally my favorite player. I decided today that Jokic passed LeBron and DeMarcus Cousins. Probably already had passed him, but I'm officially declaring it as my favorite player to ever watch play basketball. Jokic is now number 1. I love watching him play basketball.
DeMarcus is top 3.
Oh, dude, DeMarcus Cousins. I know he's not the best player ever, but I loved watching DeMarcus Cousins play basketball. Draymond Green when he's not doing BS. Love watching Draymond Green. Rondo, love some Rondo. I like watching Tyrese when he's aggressive. Yeah, that'd be an interesting.
Anthony Edwards is one of my favorites. I like.
Yeah, he's not in my favorites, but yeah, he's so fun. But
let's move to the Eastern Conference side. Let's talk about the Knicks. Knicks trying to win. They play in about an hour and a half here against the Celtics in Game 6, trying to close it out. This has been a really odd series because you have Celtics blowing the first 2 games. Jason Tatum gets hurt. It really feels like Knicks have kind of stolen this series. I truly think Celtics outplayed them in basically every game. You can say they've outplayed them. They've had a double-digit lead in every game. And 3 of the games they've led it by at least 20 at one point. They won by 25 in Game 5. For me, I like the Knicks, and we'll talk about them potentially matching up with Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm still not sold on the Knicks. There's a team that I don't fully buy into. And I don't know how you feel about them, but I just don't really trust them at all. I trust Brunson and the rest of the 4 players. I don't really know what you're going to get from them.
It's like I trust them. I don't trust them, but I trust them. I'm in this.
Like I don't know if they even win tonight. I think they win, but
yeah.
And I think tonight's a must-win for the Knicks. If you lose Game 6 at home,
if it goes,
you could actually lose Game 7 without. The way Derek White's playing right now, I just think.
I mean, if you're the Pacers, you're like, please, Boston, just do this.
Would you think the Pacers you think the Pacers
without Tatum? Boston? Yes, they'd rather face. I know that was but yes, I think Pacers rather face a Tatumless because they just handle Jaylen Brown enough. You're gonna win the series.
For me, I think Pacers match up well against both teams in these circumstances. Like if Boston's fully healthy, obviously, like against the Knicks, I think Pacers.
Okay, here's how I look at it with
match up pretty well against them.
Here's how I look at it with this. The Pacers did get swept by the Celtics, but I mean, every game was right there. Every game. And they did beat the Knicks in 7, but the Knicks probably win last year if not every player gets hurt on their roster. So I think last year they matched up better against the Celtics. It's just games went weird ways. So I think without Tatum, yeah, especially with Porzingis, his health situation, having to deal with Miles Turner, yeah, give me Celtics found the Pacers easy. And I do think, though, the Knicks, I think they win. Brunson's like, it's not as much as I trust the Knicks. It's just if they're in a close game, they have Jalen Brunson. And Brunson's maybe the best clutch player in basketball right now.
Well, he did win clutch player of the year.
Yeah, I mean, and it was deservingly so. Some people try to, I mean, if Jokic won, that would have been fine. I mean, he's Jokic, but, it doesn't really matter. So that's kind of how I feel. And it's like, can you get – when Mikal Bridges is going, that's when I think they're really good. If Bridges is playing well, that's when the Knicks are like, they can go win the title this year, which they literally can, which is weird.
Yeah, like for me, like OG disappears too often. Mikal's jump shot, I still don't trust. Karl-Anthony Towns is one of the most undisciplined players I think I've ever watched. He's always in foul trouble.
Talk about someone I don't like watch.
And I really think he falls in love with the 3-ball. Like, I don't think he utilizes his size to his full capabilities. Like, I don't think he plays inside the paint as much as he should. I think the Pacers' depth and overall getting up and down the court will pose issues. Like, right now, if it's Knicks-Pacers, I would probably choose Pacers to go to the finals.
I'm feeling
because
pretty good.
If Halliburton's playing like this, I don't think the Knicks are going to be able to beat them.
No. We were literally watching the game, as you know, and I'm like, the Game 5, Cavs-Pacers, and I think Cavs were up early, right? I think we missed some of the first quarter. We missed some of the first quarter, I believe. Did we? I don't remember. But it was in the second quarter. Did I miss some of it? I don't know. But it was in the second quarter, and I was literally like, this is like a Tyrese Halliburton moment. Like, stop passing, be aggressive. And what does he do? He hits like 3 or 4 straight threes. And then I was literally just like, if he's not aggressive, I mean, this is now or never. And then boom. And like, I also want to see him drive more. When he's driving, that opens up the 3 more. And he can finish well. Like, I don't get why he doesn't go at their lane more. But I feel good that, like, if I had to pick right now, the finals, Pacers are the most confident team I feel in. And then I take Nuggets. Pacers Nuggets is my current finals, if I had to guess.
But I want to see Pacers under really bad because I do think that they're very similar teams. You have a rangy, lengthy point guard, SGA Halliburton, and then both teams go 9 to 10 deep.
And SGA Halliburton are really different players, though. They're each lengthy.
Yeah, they are different players, but
they're complete opposite players. They're the exact opposite players.
Yeah. But I love watching series where there's a lot of depth on each side. For me, I think the Pacers if you did like a 1 through 10 player ranking of Knicks Pacers, let's just say Knicks win tonight, you probably have I think the Knicks have more players up at the top potentially, but I think middle to end of that list could be all Pacers. Like I don't think Pacers have like one.
You want to do this
Halliburton, I don't know if
exercise
he's a
now?
superstar yet. Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel, honestly. I know that 1 is Brunson's, 2 is Halliburton. I guess I'm putting Cat at 3. And I don't want to.
That's what I'm saying. You probably put OG 4, Mikal at 4.
Mikal's better than OG, but where's the Siakam leap one of them? I mean,
I think OG and Bridges have a higher ceiling than Siakam.
I know they have a higher ceiling, but it's like I trust Siakam more.
But I think like OG
that's an interesting
really
discussion
when the shot's hitting. But like I think that's where I think that's where the list ends for the. I think the Knicks have 4 of the top 5.
Josh Hart. Honestly, I'd honestly.
Okay, Miles Turner, Josh Hart.
Josh Hart's better than Miles Turner. Well, I'd honestly put Josh Hart as the Knicks' 4th best player over OG.
I don't know about that.
Dude, okay, just OG.
Yeah, if you're gonna point to a series, OG has not been great this year.
I can point to like all playoffs. Like Josh Hart in all playoffs at all times plays well. Last year, he's a clutch shot hitter. He had 24 last game. Man, he was terrible the game before. I don't know. I like him better. I like Josh Hart better. I think the top 6 players, you probably have 5 Knicks. But then after that, no, because Siakam's in there. Top 7 players, you'd have 5 Knicks. Siakam is in the. He's okay. I go Brunson, Halliburton, Towns, Bridges, Siakam, Hart, OG. But then it's like 7 straight Pacers players. Then it's
no. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't even know who the 3rd best Pacers
list of 15 players. Or if we said all the players in the series that usually play, it would be 5 of the top 7 are Knicks, and then 7 through or 8 through 15 or whatever could be all Pacers.
I think the exercise really is top 15 because
that's what I'm saying. You just do all the players in the series.
Okay, well, who's better, Nembhard? Nembhard's a huge playoff player. Nembhard or Turner? I don't know. Turner's been playing pretty well. You know what? Turner played well enough against a big man. I'm gonna put.
I would say Turner because he's been here, he's been there, done that longer. I would say Turner.
So 8 is Turner, 9 is Nembhard. Who's 10? Neesmith's been good. Neesmith's been good. Toppin's been good. Mathurin hasn't really done much, but I mean he's actually Mathurin started
bench.
He started the series well. He wasn't really impactful the last 2 games.
McConnell, Toppin. I mean, they have so many players.
Thomas Bryant's been playing well.
And that's the thing. If the Knicks are not, if this is a matchup and Knicks are not consistent, there's games that they will get run out of the building. I truly believe that because they had trouble against the Pistons. They've been down by 20 multiple times against the Celtics, and we just saw the Pacers beat, a Cavs team that a lot of people. I forgot if you had them in the finals or not. I didn't really think of the Cavs as a legitimate title contender because I thought
I honestly don't. I think I ended up picking Celtics, but okay, is Mitchell Robinson better? Which I'm going to take Mitchell Robinson over Thomas Bryant.
Well, yeah, yes.
Yeah, I'm just double checking because his free throw thing is. But then
Bryant.
like Miles McBride, probably. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Him and Thomas Bryant. Thomas Bryant at least fits.
Thomas Bryant. Why are we talking about Thomas Bryant?
Because he's been playing.
He's been playing, but I mean, I don't think he's part. I don't want to view him as potentially better than.
But then the Pacers go 9 deep, really, or 9 deep where you like it.
I'm not saying Thomas Bryant's a bum or anything or a scrub, but I just don't like how many minutes per game is he averaging? If you had
no. He had 9 points last game. He had 5 points game before.
No, like I think he's a solid contributor, but like when I'm looking at these, like McBride, that's the thing. Knicks go only like 6-7 deep.
No, yeah, and the Pacers go. If you count Thomas Bryant, they go 10 deep.
Yeah, I'll count him because he's still.
The Pacers. See, I like the Pacers 9, 10, 11 guys. I like better than the Thunder's 9, 10, 11. I like the Thunder's 6, 7, 8 guys a lot, but
yeah.
But I don't like. That's where the Pacers have more overall depth. Where like, let's say it's Pacers Thunder. I think the Pacers are still playing more players because and they have Ben Shepherd. They have Ben Shepherd too, and he's honestly played, and he's not bad. It's so weird. Yeah, Ben Shepherd had 14 points.
Yeah, but I think the gap of the 6, 7, 8 guys on Thunder. I think.
But really, I don't think it's that big. Obi Toppin's been good.
Oh, okay. The top 5 players for Thunder Pacers. Like, if you had
10.
to view, Thunder's starting 5 against.
Okay, so SGA. Okay, but Siakam's the third best player in that series, in my opinion. That's the thing. You have the second and third best player.
I'm taking so where do you have Jalen? Oh, Halliburton's 2.
Yeah. Siakam's 3. I'm trusting Siakam. I'm sorry. Jalen Williams better regular season player, but in the playoffs, Siakam's done it. See, I could see Nembhard outplaying. Nembhard's a great playoff player. I could see him outplaying.
Here's the thing. I do think Thunder's defense. I think if we're just basing off of how they've been playing the playoffs so far, sure, I get your argument. But I do think Thunder's defense. I mean, it's probably the best defense in the league. I don't think Pacers would be.
No, yeah, I agree. But the Pacers,
I think that's why I think as a unit, I don't think I would view Thunder Pacers like player for player. I would do it unit for unit. Like Thunder's defensive unit, I think.
Okay, I think
collaboratively would not allow Pacers, especially if Halliburton's not aggressive.
Yeah,
I think Thunder will take advantage of that.
Okay, here's how. If Thunder make the finals, I'm pretty sure they're winning the finals because that means they win this game 7 and then they take out the Timberwolves, assuming injuries don't play a factor. At that point, I'm like, okay, I trust them enough. They're going to beat the Pacers. But I don't think a team plays better together than the Pacers. I think they're number 1 playing
offensively,
together.
Yeah. But I think
I'm not saying as a team. Their defense has been a lot better.
I do think Thunder. Miles Turner wants to shoot the 3. I think that plays into Thunder's hands. I think Thunder because Hartenstein's a good defender. Chet's
I would take
pretty
Thunder
frail. I think that would play into their hands.
I would take Thunder in the series. Okay, which team? Okay, I know we're really assuming that the Pacers are going to make the finals, but so we can do it for the Knicks too, because I guess we'll just assume Celtics are not going to make the finals. Let's just do it for all 3 East teams. Who do you think the Pacers would prefer?
We're really doing Celtics.
We'll brief. Okay, first, who do you think Celtics would like to play if they made the finals? Knicks, Thunder, Nuggets, Timberwolves. Which team? We can go through them quickly.
Probably.
You don't want to face Nuggets because Porzingis is.
I'd probably say Timberwolves.
Yeah. Okay. Pacers. Who would?
Because the thing of Celtics is that their threes are so volatile and Thunder wants to get out and transition, and I think he used to be giving Thunder.
Oh yeah, I think that series would have Thunder would kill them in a couple games. Who do you think the Knicks would rather play? Would it also be
in the finals?
Yeah.
To be honestly, I think they match up poorly against all the teams. I would say Timberwolves though. I mean, they traded 2 of those players away.
Knicks.
I think they would want to Timberwolves.
Knicks, Thunder. I'm trying to because Cat played pretty solid against
Thunder.
Jokic.
I think Thunder.
I know. I did it again.
Knicks
Nuggets. Knicks Nuggets.
I think because then you think Cat's gonna be guarding Jokic well?
Not super well, but then you have just because then Jalen Brunson, Jamal Murray. I think that's like
for
Brunson,
I can switch Aaron Gordon on him. I can switch
Murray would guard on him. Murray would guard Hart probably.
Yeah, I'm playing Christian Brown.
But then would it be like Brunson where Christian Brown is going at Brunson? I think that's okay. I think if Knicks make the finals.
To be honest, I just think I am not huge on the Knicks personally. Like I think
but if they make the finals,
I think
if they make the finals and they beat the Pacers,
and I think they'd rather face Timberwolves all day.
Would just all 3 rather face the Timberwolves?
No, because did I say
who would
Celtics rather face?
No, you said Timberwolves. Who do you think Pacers would rather face now? I'm thinking myself.
I think Nuggets. Because the Timberwolves have depth, they have size. OKC, we were talking about OKC. I do think that they could
I guess the depth would be. I think that's the biggest depth difference because Pacers are legit.
I would say Nuggets.
But I mean, Miles Turner's a good defender, but I think Jokic murders Miles Turner. I think he takes him to lunch.
Yeah, but they could double with Siakam. Like I think it's if Nuggets keep advancing, Michael Porter's shoulder may fall off. And then I just think you kind of eliminate from the picture.
But then wouldn't Knicks and Celtics rather face Nuggets with that logic?
I just don't trust the Knicks.
Julian Strother may be starting a playoff game.
The Knicks were in a bar fight against the Pistons, who I gave the Pistons a chance to win that series. I said Knicks in 6, which that's what happened. But they struggled against a team that was in playoffs for the first time.
No, it's just it's close games. Brunson and Jokic in close games would be so fun.
And OG and Mikal Bridges, OG's been pretty bad.
Mikel's been good. Mikel, I think if you look at his overall stats, but
I said OG.
But I thought you said Mikel and OG. No, yeah, OG.
I think Mikel, you don't know exactly what you're getting. OG, he's not been great.
If you were able to turn OG into 2 players, that Knicks would be a lot better. If it was like a solid small forward and then someone solid off the bench, the Knicks would be a lot better.
Yeah, but I don't think it would be as good defensively.
No, yeah, but they're not even that good anyways right now. If you could, I don't even know how you would trade OG.
Yeah, but that's because they got OG and Mikel as wing defenders to kind of hide Cat and Jalen.
I know you can get a good wing defender from the OG trade who's not good as OG. I don't know who that'd be. I don't know. Like, could you imagine they had Cam Johnson instead of OG? I guess he's not that great of a defender.
I have OG.
No, OG's better.
Cam Johnson.
Cameron Johnson? Yeah, he was pretty good. Him and Mikel back together?
He's solid, but no.
The offense turns up, in my opinion, because Mikel.
Yeah, but the defense would suffer. So now I have defenders Cam Johnson, Jalen Brunson, and Cat on the floor.
Yeah. That's why the Knicks are weird, because like you think they work, you think they fit, but they.
If OG's hitting shots, he is.
Yeah, but
he could be a top something player in a series, like a top.
He just doesn't hit shot, and he's injury prone as hell. Even though he hasn't been hurt, don't want to jinx that.
Yeah, I think all these are interesting conversations. It's gonna be interesting conference finals on either. Like I'm rooting for the 4 teams to have go for their first rings.
We've done that a lot lately, though, man.
How?
What do you mean? It's been like 6 straight new teams to win it all.
Not true. Denver was in the conference finals last year.
I know, but like we've done this, like new teams.
Oh, not the conference finals, but I mean,
but like last year was Celtics, Mavericks, and it's like whoever wins, new team. The year before was Nuggets, Miami, new team. Warriors, but this was Warriors team, but that was again against the Celtics. And then it was Bucks, Suns, and it was Lakers who hadn't won yet with LeBron and the Heat. And it was, we haven't had a team who's won the finals with like the same general core. You know, it depends on what you consider Warriors. I guess they still their core, but they were different. They were different.
Yeah, Warriors.
When they won, but they hadn't won in like 4 years, and it was a different team.
Yeah, but they still had Clay, Draymond, and Steph, and Kerr.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's just, but when you take Durant off, Durant's so good, but they were different.
Okay, but when I think of Warriors, to be honest, when I think of the Warriors dynasty,
that Warriors team really felt different.
They were a dynasty that added Durant.
You have to think no,
but their core dates back to drafting Clay, drafting.
But
Steph,
they're not a dynasty without drafting Durant. Probably not, or without signing Durant, because I'm taking the 2017 Cavs over that.
Okay, maybe not that, but their culture was already established.
No, you're right with the culture, but they just didn't feel like that same Warriors team. They felt grittier. They felt more like really working hard at it. Not saying they didn't work hard, but they felt grittier. They were a grittier Warriors team. It was just different. It's
still the same. Like if the Chiefs.
I know, but when you take a player as good as Kevin Durant off a team,
I'm not saying that that move that kind of ruined basketball for those 2 years. It was like okay,
I mean,
but the Warriors were in finals
27
years before that.
2017 was actually fun. 2018 was actually also fun because that Houston series.
But you knew
if Chris Paul doesn't get hurt, it's Cavs Houston. That would have been such a fun finals. I think that's the finals that we missed. Besides like LeBron, Kobe, we missed out on Houston Cavs 2018. That would have been so good.
I mean, been good for the reason of different teams. But like
watching
James Harden is the most infuriating thing.
But Chris Paul was playing
in a finals. You want to watch ISO ball on one side?
But Chris Paul was playing. But Chris Paul, Logan, and LeBron, Chris Paul are friends because then also, if let's say Houston won that series, we're looking at LeBron. If LeBron wins this series, like I know the GOAT debate, and most people won't ever change their minds, but if LeBron beat that Houston team in that finals and he took that 2018 team to win it all, I think there's more people on the LeBron GOAT side than there are currently. So I think that would have been opened up, and I think that would have made it fun. And then Chris Paul has a chance to be like a top 5 point guard of all time. Chris Paul was better in that series when he was playing than James Harden. I mean, the stats may not say it, but that's how I remember it as a 16-year-old praying that that's how much I hated that Warriors team. I wanted James Harden to go to
No, I hate the Warriors team as well.
But that's how bad I hate watching James Harden. I hate watching.
No, James. That's why I don't think I would want to watch him in a final.
But the Chris Paul part, and then the LeBron actually possibly winning the series part.
So, in these playoffs, So Nuggets Pacers, who you want to see?
I mean, that's who I want to see. That's what I think happens, but that also may be some bias in there. But yeah,
when I watch the Knicks, I actually don't even like watching the Knicks.
No, I want Pacers 100% to beat the Knicks. I like watching Jalen Brunson in the last few minutes. That's bad.
See, I still think Jalen Brunson's such a foul merchant. And now I'm watching it.
Okay, but weren't we just talking about SGA and you didn't mention that once?
Okay, that's true too. But like when I watch Jalen Brunson, he's actually a foul merchant.
I prefer watching Brunson over SGA.
I just like Thunder a lot.
I'd rather watch Brunson over SGA.
And to be honest, the Pacers and Thunder, the way they build their teams is exactly how I would build a team.
I mean,
I always value depth.
But yeah, but I don't always want these two teams with depth. Sometimes it's fun, team with no depth versus team with depth. And okay, and I know we did this exercise a lot. Nuggets, Pacers, top 10 players. Jokic is 1. Halliburton is 2. I'm taking Jamal over Siakam. Then it's Siakam.
So do you have Halliburton as a superstar, or is he a star that could be a superstar?
He's a star that could be a superstar.
Okay.
They could win the finals, and he could still be just a star.
That's the thing. Like, I think if they win the finals, I still don't think he'll get the respect.
It depends on how well he plays. He is arguably been the best player on the Pacers for the last 2 years, and they've been to the Eastern Conference Finals both years. Well, I think it's the depth that kind of takes away from him. It's similar.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why people. I don't think
similar to what's happened with SGA.
Was he only rooted most overrated player because players don't like him? Because
there's 12 players voted for him, but yeah, it's probably people who didn't like him.
But it's like if you actually watch him objectively, I don't understand that vote.
Well, this is what happened. Last year, the first half of the season, he was like a top 8 player.
He got hurt, right?
No, he got hurt.
He got hurt.
But then he never he hasn't returned to that 20. He was literally averaging like 25 and 12. It's like, oh my gosh. And he hasn't returned to that, and people don't like him. I think it's a combination. No, I think Halliburton could be a superstar, but I don't think he'll end up being a superstar because I don't think he's just not aggressive enough. He's just not aggressive. And I'm not saying chuck a ton of shots, but like, dude, shoot some more. Like, what? The game they lost against the Cavs, he went like 2 for 8. What? 2 for 8?
I don't think you have to like be this old when people. No,
but like 2 for 8.
When LeBron was earlier in his career, and people are like, he wasn't shooting. If you make the right play, but I don't think you have to.
LeBron wasn't shooting it 8 times. He shot it still like high teens, like 8 times. Like, come on, that's for Halliburton, where it's like, dude, again, he's not overrated. I think that's known by now.
No, I think the vote's stupid.
No, yeah, it was 12 players. 12 players voted most overrated, kind of like a 91 player poll. But you can't go 2 for 8. You just can't. You have to at least go. I'd rather you go 2 for 15 than 2 for 8.
Yeah, no, I get that. I definitely get that.
Yeah, I love watching him though when he does not even when he's ultra aggressive, just when he's aggressive. I love watching him.
So are you gonna be watching the game at all tonight? Because I remember Game 5 or Game 4, you're like, there's no point in watching a series.
Okay, well, I thought it. Yeah, I gotta watch it. Yeah, I mean, Well, the whole series has changed, but like how the series originally was when it was 2-1.
Yeah, but that's why you watch it. You still have to watch for this. What
But
if you
it's
never
like,
watch
do
a
I
game?
really want to watch
So your
garbage
only
basketball for 40
takeaway is
minutes?
from.
Do I want to watch? I'm watching all these games. Do I want to watch this game for 40 minutes be garbage, or do I want
But
to?
you're not watching all these games. We didn't watch Thunder. We didn't watch Thunder Memphis.
Oh, that sucked too. Yeah, Logan. Here's what I'm doing. I'm trying not to tire myself
But
out completely.
Celtics, Knicks, historical franchises.
Yes, but the games 1 and 2.
So you're only like way of having any takeaways from a series is listening to other people talk about it.
No, I've also looked into it. I watched the end of games. What are you talking about? You act like I paid zero attention. I've looked into it. I've watched the end of games. I know what's happened in the first 40 minutes of games 1 and 2. Do you know what happened? The Celtics shot well, and then they got stupid. That's what.
I don't think Mazzulla is that good of a coach. He reminds me. It is very. What was
I'm not gonna.
Coach?
He's a good. I think he's a good coach.
Mike Budenholzer was the same thing. They didn't. The Bucks when they won the championship and the Celtics these last 2 years. They don't run any set plays. They don't. It's all ISO. Let the players play off each other. There's no set.
Mazzulla, I think this is a Joe Mazzulla moment. I think this is a Joe Mazzulla moment. Without Tatum, especially next year without Tatum,
it's not going to change. He didn't change after the first 2 games when they shot 100 combined threes.
But that's because he still had Tatum. I'm not saying he will change. I just think it's possible. And
I do not think
he's going to be next year. I think he's a good coach. I don't think he's a great coach. It's weird. We don't like. It's weird because like Ty Lue is a great coach, and he just lost to David Adelman. I mean,
well, that's the Clippers' fault for trusting Harden.
I mean, because everyone loves Ty Lue, and I think Ty Lue's great, but I mean, he hasn't been. What has he done without LeBron? Disappointed, and obviously his players get hurt, but still.
I think when the team goes, I don't know what like in the Clippers have been out for a while now, but like I don't get why Harden always had the ball late in games. Like he literally walks up the court and almost gets a second violation.
If I'm
every single time.
Yeah. If I'm the Clippers, I'm not returning the team because you literally can't get better. How can you get better?
No, I would look. Well, I don't know.
Zubac took a massive jump. Norman took a massive jump.
Who's going to trade for Harden?
Well, I don't know. You trade.
Like we've had this conversation about Kawhi. I don't know who trades for Kawhi because he's always injured.
The teams could be desperate. Cavs are going to be desperate. That team, they are not coming back the same. They could be desperate. You can definitely get some stuff from the Cavs.
Yeah, but are the Cavs going to feel like, okay, I'm going to give up 2 to 3 pieces?
You don't know. We don't know what they're going to give up. That's too difficult to discuss right now. I don't know. I don't even know. But we don't. But teams are going to be willing. And let's say you're the Pistons, and you're like, we could sneak into the finals. I mean,
I'm not giving up Jay and Ivy for.
No, okay, but theoretically, if you knew the Pistons had Kawhi and he was healthy next year, who is that much better than them? It won't be the Bucks. They're done.
Well, the East is wide open. So, like,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You try to, and I don't like.
I don't think Kawhi. I don't think adding Kawhi makes them instantly. Kawhi's been in the Clippers for how many years now? They haven't got past the second round. They've got past the Western.
Cade's the one. Cade's the one. Cade's the one. Kawhi's the 2.
I get that, but then if Pistons aren't willing to give up Ivy, then why would Clippers make this trade?
They have other good young players. I mean, I don't know what they're willing to give up. You just said if they're not. Who knows? They did this without Ivy. I'm just saying that I think, let's say Clippers made it known. Kawhi's out there, and he's not going to, I'm not going to play. Well, also, it's like, will Kawhi play for other people? We don't know. But let's say they make it known he's available, and Kawhi's like, yeah, I'll play for you. I think teams are going to go after Kawhi. Cavs, Pistons, 2 examples in my head, at least, where it's wide open. It's wide open. You want to know a sleeper pit trade? I just thought of in my head. I don't even know if it's good. Do you know who would be an interesting spot for Kawhi? Where the Clippers can get a star who's kind of Kawhi for Trae Young in some sense.
Oh my God!
No! Listen, then the Hawks. Their wings are unbelievable. Jalen Johnson.
Now I'm watching Trae Young and James Harden.
Well,
give me a break.
Okay, wait.
And who's going to trade for James Harden? That's my point.
Well, I don't know about James Harden. Okay, maybe that I didn't.
And I don't even like watching Trae Young that much. He's a wannabe Steph Curry.
It's not about liking watching Trae Young. That's not what it's about. It's about a team.
I don't think he's that good. I don't think he's all that as a player. I think he's good.
It's but if you're the Clippers, wouldn't you take Trae Young? Because if you think Kawhi is just like Trae Young is entertaining.
Straight up.
I don't know exactly. I don't know the value of Kawhi.
Winning championships. They're not about entertainment.
What do you mean? Trae Young's entertaining for people.
No. Yes, I just said they're about winning. I don't think he's a winning player.
Well, yes, but it's a step. And then I don't know, man. You don't if you can get an aging superstar, trade him for a player who got better this year. He got better this year. He shot less and became a better defender. He still has some work to do. You'd obviously him and Zubac would be great. If you could somehow offload James Harden for a bad contract. There's plenty of bad contracts. I think everyone is tradable except Bradley Beal in the league. I don't know, man. I'm just theorizing. It's fun.
I think Pacers make more sense than the Hawks.
Well, but now the Pacers may make the finals. And
they fall short. Do they give some of that depth up for a Kawhi?
I mean, no, yeah, that too. I agree. Hawks was just something that came up in my mind because Ricochet's been better. Jalen Johnson's a stud, and Kawhi, those three together, and then you have Okongwu. I have no idea what you're doing at point guard.
I don't think Clippers would just say. I think the Clippers would. I don't think they would want Trae Young. I think they would want one of those other players.
You're not getting Jalen Johnson or Ricochet, but again, you're saying who would want Kawhi? Another player who has a weird trademark.
But Hawks are not just because they're in East doesn't mean that they're a championship contending team.
If you put Kawhi, Jalen Johnson, Ricochet, Okongwu, you get an okay point guard, and they have some okay bench pieces. Niang, LeVert, who else is on there?
You think a team?
I want to pick them
with two of its core players at what? How old is Ricochet? 19, 20, 21?
Ricochet was pretty good. Jalen Johnson is an all-star.
You think
Jalen Johnson's an all-star? Jalen Johnson's an all-star. Ricochet turned. What if he has a big second-year jump?
I'm not saying he's. I promise you, they won't even make it to the conference finals, even with Kawhi.
And so in a weird year, I'm just saying, in a weird year, the Celtics could still contend, but they're gonna have to get super creative. But in
I
a
think
weird
it makes
year,
more sense for teams who are close. Like the Pacers are close. The Pistons, I think, are a piece away from being pretty close. The Knicks, they won't do it, but they're close. The Hawks are
OG for Kawhi would be fun. That'd be interesting. OG for Kawhi probably wouldn't happen.
I don't know. Logan. The Knicks.
I'm just being, but someone may be willing to take the shot because if it works, you have a top 15 player just added to your team.
Okay. We're talking about the Hawks and the Clippers right now. And
yeah, we
just closed out an episode where we're talking about West Conference Finals.
We talked a full hour. We went really in depth on all the teams remaining. I feel like.
So do you want to do top 10 players of Clippers Hawks? Is that what you want to do?
That'd be fun. Yeah, Kawhi.
Okay, I was joking. We're not doing this.
Okay. Real quick, would Trae Young be the second player?
No.
Wait, why wouldn't he? Would Trae Young be the second best player? Who's besides Kawhi? Who's better? Yeah, I'm taking Trae Young over Harden. I'm still taking him over Zubac and Norman Powell. Yeah, Trae Young's second best player between those two teams. Why not? Who's better?
I would take Zubac, to be honest with you.
I'm not. I like Zubac. I'm not taking. He's not better than Trae Young.
Trae Young is.
You think Zubac could have got a team to the conference finals as the best player? No. I don't care if it was one-off.
Do you know who?
I don't care. Ben Simmons. Blah blah blah.
It was Ben Simmons.
Okay, but it was also Joel Embiid.
And Joel Embiid, who you call a bum.
He's a bum, but he's still good. But he's a bum for different reasons. You understand why?
You call him a bum.
He's not a bum per se. He's a superstar with a ton of wasted potential and who flakes and doesn't play against Nikola Jokic in Denver in like 6 years. Okay. Doesn't mean that wasn't impressive. Wait, that doesn't mean.
Now we're talking about Trae Young, man.
I'm not saying Trae Young did this Herculean thing, but what he did was impressive. No matter what you want to say, it was impressive. It wasn't the greatest achievement on God's green earth. It was impressive. Zubac could not do that. What? Zubac couldn't do that?
I may trust Zubac as my point guard. Who knows?
Zubac cannot stop. Trae Young's better than Zubac. Come on. Trae Young has more obvious holes, but he's still way better.
Okay, Jalen Johnson or Trae Young?
Okay, that's currently Trae Young, but Jalen Johnson could overpass.
Zubac was mostly joking, but like Jalen Johnson, I think I would take him.
No, I'm still taking Trae Young, but Jalen Johnson just got hurt. If he gets better, then probably Jalen Johnson. But I'm still taking Trae Young.
Like, I don't think there's a big gap between Trae Young and like Norman Powell. I think there's a gap. I don't think.
But there's one's clearly better than the other gap. Come on, Norman Powell was like non-existent for a lot of that series. Trae Young's not. No matter what Trae Young does, he's not going to be non-existent. Trae Young passes better than anything else Norman Powell does. Didn't Trae Young take the Celtics to 6? Like Trae Young has like taken the Celtics to 6. Well, yeah, because he's taken the Celtics to 6 like 2 out of 3 years or something.
How many games did he take the Celtics to?
6. And that was impressive. That was a pretty solid accomplishment for what he was playing with.
Okay. Can I please?
Trae Young's the second best player in between those two teams.
Oh my God. Okay, I regret making a joke of doing like top 10 players between Clippers and
we had some good conversation.
Now we've gone on this 4-minute spiel about Trae Young.
Trust me, we should do like
who hasn't done anything relevant.
Hornets, Jazz, top 10 players.
Okay.
Hornets, Jazz, top 10 players.
Come on now. Why are we doing this?
Is
Two teams
LaMelo number
lottery.
1? Who are you taking number 1? LaMelo or Markkanen? I don't know. I think I'm taking Laurie.
Okay. I'm going to close out the episode. That's going to do it for us today. What, Trae Young for 4.5 minutes? He's played more play-in games than playoff games the last 2-3 years.
I don't think that's accurate. Oh, if you take away the conference finals.
Yes.
But no, because he went to 6 with the Celtics. And boom, that's more than any play-in games he's played. Boom.
Okay, I was kind of just.
But you were wrong, and I was right. And that's
I've watched a good amount of Hawks Heat playoff or play-in games.
No, I'm sick and tired of those. And the Bulls. The Bulls get in there.
Yeah, and Toronto. I feel like I've seen those 4 teams. They didn't make it this year, but I've seen those 4 teams.
Yeah, I don't
quite consistent.
Imagine. Oh, we didn't even talk about Giannis.
Yeah, I think he's going to end up going to if Spurs don't trade the second pick.
It sounds like they're not.
Houston, I think he's just he's definitely a top 5 player in the league, but he has the same issues that Houston has. Can't shoot.
That's what makes Houston weird.
Yeah, I don't really know where he goes.
No, he's an interesting one. If the Spurs don't want to, Houston's weird. Well, I saw that the Pelicans or Blazers may have to get in the trade just so Bucks can get their picks back.
Okay.
Just so Bucks can in the trade get their picks, which is interesting position for the Pelicans and the Blazers because then you can get something out of that pretty good. Maybe you should just go to the Blazers, man. I like the Blazers. Blazers are fun. I want the Blazers to make a big move.
Full of absurd takes.
What? The Blazers are fun. Okay, you don't know what you're talking about.
Absurd afterthought takes.
And free Simons. You got Scoot still developing. Advia has been really good. You got this couple nice big men. You got Kamara, one of the best wing defenders.
Luke, you think he's going to go to Portland?
Well, no, but it'd be fine. You have the Jeremy Grant contract to offload. It'd be fine.
I think if Timberwolves had something, I think they gave up a lot of picks. I think Timberwolves could possibly go all in for him, but I just don't think they have.
But they're in that weird second apron where I don't even understand it. I mean,
yeah, I don't think they would. Yeah, and I think he's going west.
Yeah. What if the Sixers offloaded Tyrese Maxey in the 3rd pick for Giannis?
Nope.
From whose side?
I'm not doing that with the Sixers. If I'm the Sixers, here's one. Sixers, I'm not even trying to. I'm done with this Joel Embiid window.
Well, yeah,
I'm building with Maxey. I'm building Maxey a 3rd pick, and I'm going from McCain, and I'm going from there.
Also, I know the Sixers won't do it, but it'd be interesting if they put Joel Embiid out there on the trade market. What would his trade value be? I literally don't.
I don't think you're getting. I think it's kind of like Kawhi's definitely more dependable and better player, but I think they're kind of the same. I think they're in the same category of you don't know, you can't really trust if they're gonna be healthy.
No, yeah, but you know who would be a fun Joel Embiid team? The Atlanta Hawks. They would.
So now I have to watch Trae Young and Joel Embiid. Oh,
I mean, I don't like watching. I like watching Trae Young sometimes don't. But let's say you somehow.
I don't think he's a winning player. He doesn't try on defense. No.
Oh, now you don't. I mean, which one are you talking about?
Trae Young.
He's tried a lot more on defense. What are you talking about?
Did you not see the clip against?
Okay, yeah, the play-in was not a good example of that, but I think he's done with the season. I think he's just like, I want to go home. Why go to the playoffs and get my butt kicked?
Yeah, okay, we've had enough
fun conjecture.
This has been going on.
Fun. Oh, and lastly, Brock Purdy contract.
If we do that, we're going to be on another 45 minutes.
Okay, I think it's an okay contract. That's all I'll say. Okay contract.
I think it's wildly stupid, but yeah.
I still would have. It's an okay contract, but I still would have waited.
I think the timing is bad, and I don't think he elevates. Good luck affording players now, guys. If you're San Francisco, have fun. You just made George Kittle highest paid tight end. You just extended Christian McCaffrey last offseason.
I trust I trust.
You gave Ayuk. You gave Ayuk $30 million.
They should have traded Ayuk. They should. I trust the front office. I trust the front office.
Nick Bosa is the highest paid. Fred Warren is one of the highest paid linebackers. Have fun. And 49ers, what you experienced last year, get used to it.
Oh, stop it.
And this year they may get a saving grace and be pretty good because their schedule is full of cupcakes.
Schedule doesn't matter.
Brock Purdy's not worth $53.5 million or whatever it was. He's not worth it at all.
It may be a little overpay, but okay. What do you think in your head? Real quick. What would you place the number? Just like the specific number per year that you think he's worth. Taking into account
that I'm comfortable with.
Yes.
I mean, quite frankly, I'm not comfortable paying him. Just
give me a number that you think he's worth, not that you're comfortable paying. That you think he's worth. If each quarterback is worth, Mahomes is worth the most.
Okay, so if I'm doing this if I did rankings and with like the market where these players being paid.
I mean, figure it out.
So Baker Mayfield, I think he's better.
But Baker's underpaid. We know that. That doesn't. Don't put that into.
Okay, I think he's underpaid, but I also don't think he deserves a $20 million per year raise. Because I don't think
what do you think Baker's worth?
Because I'll answer that real quick, but hold on. Like Trevor Lawrence, I don't think he's worth $50+ million. Justin Herbert, I really like him. And the narrative is going to be until he wins a playoff game that he's overvalued. I think he's a really good quarterback, but I know that's going to be the narrative. Jordan Love got paid after 8 good games. I don't think he's worth that at all. I think the quarterback market, Tua, never healthy and doesn't beat good teams. And he's
okay. You may have a
point.
My
point is just because quarterbacks are up for a contract does not mean you don't get to become the next highest paid thing.
I get that argument. What do you think Brock Purdy? If you had to put a number.
35 to 40. And I still want to do it. If I were 49ers, I would play one more year of this. And if I don't get a Super Bowl, because if you're going to pay, with this load of, now their roster's not that good this year. They lost a lot of pieces.
But you don't know. See, that's why I don't like, you don't know if their roster's good. That's why,
Luke, they lost Green.
And they're going to get all the players back who got hurt, who are not playing.
What's McCaffrey going to look like? There's no guarantee that McCaffrey is what he is.
We don't. But that doesn't mean he's going to be bad. Trent
Williams is 1 foot out the door. They didn't address any of the offensive line. Their offensive line was probably the biggest weakness. And you drafted an Iowa guard in the 7th round, and you had 12.
Hey, those Iowa players, they play well. That's a good college football program.
7th round. And to be honest, 49ers, you say you trust their front office. They have a terrible track record of drafting with their early round picks.
Do you know what they have a good track record of? Going to Super Bowls, going to conference titles.
Yeah, and here's the thing. And this is, I think you hold this like the Chiefs. When Brett Veach won Super Bowls, we were like, I don't know if I trust Brett Veach. Like a few years ago, I don't know if I trust Veach.
Okay, I've grown
because of early round picks.
I've still grown. Okay, I've grown smarter. I've learned to trust Brett Veach, even when he makes mistakes.
I think market value, if you want to get pretty
drafting Xavier Worthy, I thought it was a terrible pick. I was wrong. Worthy's pretty solid.
So what would a franchise tag be for Purdy? Because that's I guess actually it's like the highest paid.
Yeah, never mind. Yeah,
it's probably
franchise may be more expensive. Okay, but it's still
30-ish
good
million is what I feel comfortable with.
He did not get like 60, and I think that's good. I think that Purdy won the negotiations, but I don't.
3.5 is a lot of money.
No, I think he won negotiations, but I think he won like 62, 38%, not like 70, 30, 80, 20.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you think he elevates players around him, or do you think it's a system?
I think he elevates to a certain extent. But system, every team's different. So it's not you're not always paying players to elevate everyone.
Okay, and here's the thing, and I don't have the numbers in front of me. If you put Garoppolo's number, and he's better than Garoppolo.
Okay, I think I have my one.
They're identical. They are identical.
I don't care about the numbers. I just don't care.
Jimmy Garoppolo's the highest paid quarterback at one time. Was that a good contract?
When I watch Purdy play, he's better than Garoppolo. You're also not giving account Purdy lost to everyone last year, and he still competed in games, and they lost a lot of stupid games, like bad defense plays, missed extra points, missed field goals, fumbled punts, they blocked punts. Like Purdy had nothing going for him last year. You can admit to that, right? He had nothing. Everything went bad for him.
Yeah, but my argument for that is that's how the team's going to look in the future with this contract.
But the Chiefs didn't look great on offense either. And I don't think less of Patrick Mahomes.
But the Chiefs, you never thought of them as a Super Bowl team until they got Mahomes and until he proved.
Okay, I get that, but that doesn't mean you don't pay.
He's the best quarterback in the league. I'm not going to compare.
Obviously, I'm not comparing him, but I'm just showing you where players can look not as well because of injuries. And because of all that, but you're acting like Purdy didn't elevate because
I don't think
because Logan, they're probably a 500 team if their special teams is average. Their special teams was terrible. It was just
okay. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's not going to change.
I'm not saying he's a savior.
No. No. Here's the thing about special teams. That's not going to change. Kyle Shanahan doesn't give a crap about special teams.
Okay, but
he doesn't care about offensive line, and that's still two things they didn't.
What do you mean he doesn't care about special teams? They drafted a kicker in the 4th round. They did. He just was a bad.
No. But I have listened to San Francisco people, or he does not. They don't like coaching. They do not value special teams. I promise you.
No, yeah, but they've had some good special teams in the past. The last year was an extra level. Come on,
value special teams.
It was an extra level of bad, though. It was not the same as.
No, I understand that, but that's part.
And don't you think that could change this year? Don't you think they could change that? They could adapt.
They have not. A weakness of the 49ers for years has been. It was just not. Last year was the worst of it, but it's always been a somewhat weakness for them.
But the worst of it can make you then adapt. Logan, last year, if they had average special teams, I think they went
the offensive line is a clear telling point. The offensive line was terrible, and they didn't adapt and address it.
So, Larry, what did Brock Purdy do wrong if he had bad coaching, bad special teams, bad O-line,
I'm not saying
what. No, what did Brock Purdy have going for him? Name me one thing.
Because I
want you to name this one.
My point is not about what he did last year that he did anything wrong. My point is, it's going to look like this more often. He's not going to have his loaded roster.
I don't think so.
You are not going to be able to afford. My point is, I don't think he's an elevator. That's just me. I think it's a system and the players around him that make it. Because of that, it's going to affect the team because he's not. Now you're going to have worse players around him, and he's definitely not going to elevate those guys. That's my point.
Look at the Packers. Look at the Chargers.
I'm not blaming.
Still getting better.
I'm not blaming Purdy for last year's shortcomings. His injuries, and I think some of coaching. That's my opinion. But I do think last year could be a precursor of what things could look like if you pay Purdy. But I would have. What they should have done is let Purdy play.
That's overrated too, because look at the Chargers. They've gotten so much better, and they just paid Herbert, and they got better. They've gotten better. So what's the difference?
Luke. They paid. Who else are they paying?
They were paying.
That's my point.
No. You're wrong. They were paying Mike Williams. They were paying Keenan Allen. They were paying Joey Bosa. They were paying Khalil Mack. So the Niners, you know what they could do? They could get off of those players and make some other additions, just like the Chargers. Why can't the Niners do what the Chargers did? The Niners were paying a lot, and Derwin James. They're paying a lot of players. So you're wrong on that. They were paying a lot of players, and they were overpaying. They were overpaying every single one of those players.
I'm not wrong because the 49ers have, at the time, highest paid running back, highest paid linebacker, highest paid edge rusher, highest paid left tackle. Highest paid and high paid players are two different things.
But do you know what's going to happen, Logan?
Highest paid tight end.
Do you know what's going to happen? Do you know what's going to happen, Logan? Purdy his contract doesn't even start this year. Do you know what's going to happen? Another year is going to go through.
Yeah, but
No,
my thing is this year their roster is not that good this year. And I'm not the only one saying it.
First off, I still think it's better than people think. I just do think it's better than people think. That's just my opinion. But do you know what's going to happen, Logan? Logan, you know what's going to happen? They're going to offload some of these players because that's how it works. And then you replace
They've already
them.
Offloaded them. This offseason was offloading.
Did they offload any of the players you just mentioned? No.
But they lost. I've already mentioned it earlier. They lost Alfunga, Debo, Greenlaw.
Debo's not that. You don't even think Debo's a good
Tarvarius
receiver.
Ward. They've lost so many players.
But okay, first, you don't think Debo's that good of a receiver. Alfunga
That's
never
true,
played.
but he's still a building block of that offense.
But looking at the
you lost 3 defensive starters, a safety.
Okay, Alfunga didn't play last year. Alfunga didn't play last year. Drew Greenlaw didn't play last year. So they're not getting any worse at those positions, are they? I don't think so. They didn't play. They're not getting worse. They're just getting them off. Alfunga may have played a little bit.
Alfunga played. He got hurt, but he played.
Yeah, but he barely played.
Greenlaw played at the end of the year.
Yeah, and you know what? Greenlaw he's coming off an injury. He wasn't that good. So you're not getting worse at those positions, and then these players are going to eventually leave. And the cap, guess what it's going to do in 2 years? It's going to be like $40 million higher.
See, the cap, that's the thing, another thing people
But it's literally the same thing that just happened with the Chargers. It just happened with the Chargers. It's the same example, but you like Justin Herbert and you don't like Purdy.
Yeah, and you see what Justin Herbert did? He went to the playoffs with, what was their receiving core? It was Lama Conky.
You know what I saw Justin Herbert do? He sucked in the playoffs. You know what I've seen
but we're talking.
Go to a Super Bowl.
You know what? But you know what? Okay, you know why they went to the playoffs and were able to, despite. You think Brock Purdy leads that Chargers team to the playoffs?
No, that's not the point. Okay, if I'm in a playoff game,
can you answer that question?
Yeah, it was Herbert. Herbert's better than Purdy as a talent, but Herbert sucks in the playoffs.
Okay, you're not answering the question. Would Purdy lead that team to the playoffs last year?
No.
That
doesn't prove your answer. That doesn't prove it because there's different.
So you think Purdy's better than Herbert?
No, he's not better than Herbert, but in the playoffs, Herbert is a regular season.
That's my point. Your question of what is the 49ers and the Chargers of what they did.
No,
because they have Herbert.
Herbert.
I know he choked in the playoffs, but we're talking about
Logan. The playoffs are way more important than the regular season. If you didn't,
but you're talking about Purdy losing everybody, and he still had arguably better weapons than what the Chargers had.
McConkey's. Whoa, did he really?
Collective.
Okay, but he didn't have nearly the O-line the Chargers had. He didn't have nearly the defense. What are you talking about? It's an all-around team. It's not just weapons.
And Herbert doesn't have nearly the play caller and system that.
Whoa, John Harbaugh.
It's Gus. It's what's his name?
It's John Harbaugh in the whole scheme of things. It's John Harbaugh.
His culture.
Yes,
culture, Jim
coaching. But no, okay. Here's a problem. You're valuing play calling over culture and head coach. That's dumb. You're going to value.
No, I'm valuing. I'm saying play calling in terms.
But that doesn't matter.
In terms of quarterback success,
you should not mention play calling ahead of overall head coach. Overall head coach goes way ahead of play calling. What are you talking? And John Harbaugh is probably influencing most of the play calling.
See, here's a counter. Mike Tomlin, great culture head coach. What's his team done since 2017? They've won.
Go to the playoffs, and also.
Okay, and that's what Justin Herbert did. And now we're ripping them.
Because
now you're flipping the argument.
Terrible in the playoffs. Okay, no, I'm not done.
Yes, he
is. Harbaugh is an offensive coach. He's impacting. Harbaugh probably is calling half the plays. Really, you think that it's just like Harbaugh doesn't know what the play is going to be? No, it's John Harbaugh.
He doesn't know the play. No. He's not calling. This is actually the same thing for every team. Can you let me talk? Can you kind of make my point, please? I let you make yours.
I didn't even say a word.
You were about to. If I didn't say you were going to interrupt me, I guarantee it.
Let's go.
See how you're being cordial because I pointed out. Every team, the head coach knows what the play. You have to give the okay with the head coach, but it doesn't mean they're calling the plays. It doesn't mean necessarily calling plays. He's not calling plays. He may give the okay for the plays, but he's not calling. I promise.
But also, during the whole week, they're discussing plays. They're discussing game plan. You're undervaluing John Harbaugh's impact on a play-by-play basis, which I'm not going to let you do. The dude just won a national title, and he also has been to a Super Bowl. So no, the coaching advantage, overall coaching, I don't give a damn about play calling. It's coaching. Head coach. They're both offensive guys. No, they're both offensive guys. Head coach. It's a split.
My question doesn't have to do with that.
No, but it's a split. It doesn't matter about play calling. That conversation is only somewhat valuable. The head coach quality is way more valuable of a conversation than play calling. So it's a split at head coach. Purdy had the weapons. Herbert had the O-line. So the situations are not that different. And plus, Purdy had to play with a whole bunch of new different players. He didn't have continuity because he had injuries. Herbert's situation was better than Purdy's last year.
Now you're not undermining, but now so you're saying what Purdy has had the last 9. I'm not saying last year, last 3 years of Debo in his prime, Ayuk,
and he almost won a Super Bowl.
McCaffrey.
He almost won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, almost. Jimmy Garoppolo almost won a Super Bowl.
You know what? Then Josh Allen isn't anything. Then Joe Burrow isn't anything. Then Lamar Jackson isn't anything. No, but that's the point.
Now you're flipping my words. No,
I'm not flipping words. I'm not flipping words. I'm not flipping words.
No. Now you're trying to say I said something else.
I'm not saying you said it, but that's the principle of.
That's not even close. No, it's not. Situations make quarterback success.
I understand that, but Purdy went to Super Bowl.
But no, you can't. But I think Brock Purdy's been given almost everything.
But he hasn't truly been given everything. If you think his O-line has sucked since the moment he's been there, he's had a bad O-line. What are you talking about?
So what would you rank Kyle Shanahan's scheme / play caller? If you what would you rank?
What are you? You're acting like Purdy's been bad. He's done very well.
No, I'm not saying that at all. You're acting like Purdy has had the same amount of support as like some of these other quarterbacks.
But if you're looking at Purdy and Herbert's career, take away what pick they were. Let's say they were the same pick. One had more support. One almost won a Super Bowl. One had less support. He still doesn't win a playoff game. That's pretty even to me. It's even. It cancels out.
So, okay. And can I ask? I don't want to make a Herbert conversation, but I asked you this question: if Herbert wins one playoff this game, just one, what is your overall thoughts on it?
It gets better
if he wins one, just one.
It depends on how he wins it, but if he plays well, then that means a lot. But then what if he comes and sucks in the second game?
Purdy's won playoff games and has not been good. They played Green Bay that one year, and he was not. He should have thrown 4 picks.
It doesn't matter. I've seen him play well in playoff games. I've seen him do it. I haven't seen Herbert do it. I've seen him have a good half. Logan Herbert's. It cancels out. One's been to a Super Bowl with a lot of support. One made the playoffs with not a ton of support, but also was terrible in the playoffs. So guess what, Logan? It cancels out where they're not that different, where one could still be way better than the other, Herbert, but it's not that different. Herbert has not proven much more than Purdy. He just hasn't. Just because he looks better and just because he throws a better ball doesn't make him that much better. They're not that far apart. Dude, Herbert went down on the list for me. I'm sorry, he did. I don't care that he's the most athletic, that he's athletic and fast and strong and can hit throws in place. He just doesn't make a ton of winning plays. I've seen Purdy make more winning plays. I just have. And Herbert could be a top 5 quarterback, but at the moment he does not have enough qualities of it. He does not have the most important qualities of it.
That's why I asked you a question. If he wins one playoff game, I think he would not skyrocket, but I do think he would elevate.
Not skyrocket. Skyrocket's not the. But like I'm taking Baker right now. I think he's better than Herbert. He just, in my opinion, he is. Playoff game, give me Baker.
You are fine with that opinion.
But that makes it to where Purdy's not that far from Herbert at the current moment. He's not that far.
Luke, no.
I don't care that Herbert's way more talented.
Okay, what does Herbert do? What would Herbert do on the 49ers when he had a rookie contract with them? Please tell me. I think they would be in the same spot.
It doesn't matter what he would have done. It matters what he is now. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what he would have done.
He's at situations.
But situations doesn't make it. His situation did not make.
If you're trying to say Purdy's situation wasn't perfect.
No, first off, it wasn't perfect. It was really good. Really good. One of the best situations. But Logan, it doesn't matter. It's what he is now. And you know what? Maybe the past has affected him, but the effect is there because with a good situation this year with John Harbaugh, one of the best coaches in football, he was terrible in that playoff game. In a very winnable playoff game, he was horrible. He was horrible in an insanely winnable playoff game. He was terrible. And the last time he was in the playoffs, they're up 27-0, whatever the hell it was. So they had enough talent. They had enough talent. And guess what? He was terrible from then on. I'm taking Herbert over Purdy. It's just not that big of a gap to me. I think Herbert's clearly better, but it's like how it's just not this massive gap until he wins a playoff game. But he hasn't done it. And because different talent is the most overrated aspect of being quarterback. Tom Brady wasn't talented.
Because there's a lot of players who haven't turned out. There's a lot of players who had a bunch of talent.
Yes, that's why it's overrated. It's overrated. It's an overrated thing. What makes Patrick Mahomes great isn't his talent. It helps a lot, but it doesn't. It's not what makes him great. But Herbert has way more talent than Purdy. But Purdy, all the other small things, give me Purdy. Guts, clutch plays, give me Purdy. Not even close. And that's why it's close.
Can I close out the episode? Because now we've gone 35 extra minutes of each.
Yeah, that was wild. That was fun.
And I what did I tell you? As soon as you started, I said we're going to be here for 45 minutes.
You went more on it than I did. You did, because I literally counted. You talked for like 4 minutes, and I didn't say a word, basically.
Come on.
I counted.
I heard you give me a.
Yeah, because I think that's the best point I've ever made on this. The whole talent thing I just did, and like how Purdy comes closer to all the other stuff, and I think that was very well said by myself.
Okay. You see, you're trying to bait me back in. I'm not gonna.
No, I'm not even saying like you didn't say good.
No,
points.
No. I know I know what you're
you
trying
made
to
good
do.
Points. I really liked my final point.
Yeah, you just made it. Okay, I'm not getting into it. We're closing out the episode today.
That's a great point.
Sorry for the discussion we had. Time will tell. Yeah, I don't know why Luke's pencil went back. Time will tell that I will be right with this contract.
There's a chance. I'm not saying you're not. I'm literally not saying that you won't be right.
Okay.
I'm just saying the current moment, how things sit on May 15th, 16th.
Okay. How many missed? See, that's the thing. That's why you've been speaking more. You've had way more mishaps than I have.
Just end the episode.
Oh, now you want to end the episode. Well,
okay, well now that's
we should do it.
You're straying away from the technical points being made.
I'm surprised you pronounced that right. Okay, we're gonna end the episode today. That will be it for the episode. Hopefully Luke doesn't rehash any arguments. Game starts in 20 minutes. Make sure to subscribe, follow us, leave a like, and we also have our episodes on Spotify. But until then, we'll see you guys next week, probably with more NBA coverage and any other breaking news that happens.
Peace.